Hello guys, welcome back home and welcome back to another episode of how to score above 300 in Jamb. And if this is your first time of watching my videos, I am Raphael and currently a pharmacy student at the University of Nigeria, Nsukka. And if you have not been following us all this while, we are currently running a series on how to score above 300 in Jamb, and we are currently in episode 5. So you can go and start from episode 1 to really catch up with us. That is after watching this video. In this video, I'll be discussing about how and why I always score above 90 in physics in my past Jamb examinations before I gained admission. And these are the results where I scored above 90 in physics. I'll also be gifting this textbook that I use for preparing for my Jamb Physics examination then, because I know that most of you are complaining that you don't have the money to purchase these textbooks or that you don't have access to them. So this is my way of helping you guys out. The password to the file will be in this video. Watch very carefully, you will find it. And the link to the file, the link to the textbook will be in the video description. I'm not here to tell you guys how simple physics is, because as you guys dread studying it now, so did I then. But I wish you can stay to the end of this video because you will see physics differently. Trust me on this. And I will try my best to summarize the video into 9 points. So let's get started. The number one tip that I'll give to you guys is to focus on completing your syllabus rather than completing your textbook. So what am I saying? What do I mean by completing your syllabus rather than completing your textbook? I've seen so many students trying to cover their textbook or read every topic, read every subtopic in their textbook. Although almost all the topics in your syllabus is in the Jamb recommended textbook, but not all the topics in your Jamb recommended textbook or textbook is in the Jamb syllabus. I'll say it again. Although every topic that is in your syllabus is in your Jamb recommended textbook, but not every subtopic or topic that is in your Jamb recommended textbook or your textbook is also in your syllabus. Let me use this example to drive this home. I will use a Jamb recommended textbook to explain this. This is new school physics. Now look at this topic in this textbook. As at now, rockets and satellites are not yet included in your syllabus. Check it very well. You won't see rockets and satellites, but most of you are going to spend hours studying this particular topic. Hours you should have used in studying other things in the syllabus that are going to come out. You are using it to study something that you are not going to see in your exam question. So why not use this hour to focus and cover more topics in your syllabus? Why wasting it? Secondly, you need to know about the special angles and how they are derived. So what are the special angles? They are the angle 60, angle 30, angle 90, and angle 45. You need to know how to calculate their sine, their cosine, and their tangent. Maybe using SOHCAHTOA, because in the exam hall, you're not going to be seeing any scientific calculator to use for calculating these stuffs. And don't be afraid, because they are not going to, or they are not likely to give you guys any question that has to do with those odd angles like angle 40, angle 50, angle 10, angle 12, those stuffs. They mostly give questions from these special angles. Also, I will advise that you stop using scientific calculators for calculating. I discuss more about calculators and the type of calculators you should be using in the 3rd episode of this series. You see, if you have been following us, you would have known about this by now. So after this video, you can go ahead and watch the 3rd episode of this series. You will know how to calculate without calculators, and also the type of calculators you should be using now for preparation, because that is the type of calculators you also see in the exam. I discuss much about it in that video. Go and watch it after this video, please guys. The third point I will give to you guys is to know units and how to convert from one unit to another, including their submultiples. And what do I mean by submultiples? I mean micro, milli, pico, nano, you should know about them. And I know that this could be very confusing for you guys, but there is a method that I use for memorizing it, and I will share the method with you guys. And the mnemonic that I use for memorizing these stuffs in their order is: King Henry died by drinking chocolate milk, Monday night party time. And what does this mnemonic mean? Now let me explain to you guys. In this mnemonic, every word represents the first letter of a prefix in order from largest to smallest. K from king means kilo, H from Henry means hecto, D from died means deca, B from by means unit or the base unit, D from drinking means deci, C from chocolate means centi, M from milk means milli. Monday, that's M from Monday means micro, N from night means nano, P from P means pico, and T means tera. Tera and hecto, you can leave them out of this, but if you can remember these stuffs in order: King Henry died by drinking chocolate milk, Monday night party time. If you can remember the order of this, you can also remember the submultiples. It answers the question who died, why the person died, and when the person died. That is an easy way that I use for memorizing and remembering this in my exam up till today. And I will also share how I was able to memorize how to convert a galvanometer to an ammeter. I know this particular subtopic is very, or could be very confusing. For me then, it was very confusing, and what I had to do was to use a very funny memorization trick on mnemonic to really remember it and to remember the formula. So whenever I see the question or any question from it, it became my delight. It became like the simplest questions for me. But the mnemonic I use is very funny. I don't even want to share it because like it's very embarrassing for me. Okay, but I will share it to you guys. The mnemonic I used was igirigi. So is that funny? Igirigi, then over current minus current from the galvanometer. So it's very easy, don't worry, you will not forget it again. Is igirigi over current minus ig. So my advice for you guys is to just go to your notes and write it in a printed form, like write it and beautify it, and trust me, you won't forget it. So if you see any question that is asking you to convert a galvanometer to an ammeter, is a very simple stuff. Just remember igirigi and put it out. Any formula that is confusing, just find a way or use a mnemonic to memorize it. This will lead me to my fourth point, which is practice. Practice is the easiest way to memorize formulas. I know that some of you assume that if you know all the formulas in physics, that you'll be able to answer all the questions in physics. This is a lie. It is not true. This is what will lead many students to smuggling formulas into the exam hall. But the question you need to ask yourself is, how many of these students that struggle formulas or smuggle formulas into the exam hall, how many of them really scored very high in physics? You see, it's not just about taking the formulas to the exam hall. The main stuff there is, can you really solve questions with these formulas? Because if you have not practiced how to use these formulas or how to use them to solve questions, you will be confused in the exam, because the questions most times are not straightforward. It's even comprising, a question can comprise of many formulas. So if you have not really practiced it very well, you will fail the exam. So instead of using all your time to memorize or cram formulas, why not use that time to practice? Practice makes perfection, and physics is not an exemption. If you are studying physics and you're not practicing, you are really hurting yourself. So guys, try your best to practice, use the past questions, use whatever source you have to practice what you learned. And I'll use this as an example. It's just like if I give you a loaded gun, a gun with live bullet that I've already loaded, but you have not used the gun, you have not used the gun before, you don't know how to shoot, you might miss the target compared to someone that have been practicing how to shoot a gun. This will lead me to my fifth point, which is try to understand the concept or the question before jumping into calculation. When you see the question in the exam hall or during your practice, first of all ask yourself, where is this question coming from? Which topic is it really coming from? And what are they asking for? Don't just jump into the questions, because I know that is what most of you do, and that is why you say that physics is difficult. Ask yourself this question, which topic is it from? And also, what are they demanding? So if you can know this, guys, physics will be easier for you. Don't just jump into the question. First of all, know where the question is coming from and what they are demanding. To further illustrate this, I will use this question as an example. You know, this is something that is related to power and electricity, but you need to narrow it down to the context. So you can see that the question is coming from electricity, but which part of electricity? You need to know the context that the question is talking about. From this, you can see that the question is coming from alternating currents in electricity. It's a topic in electricity. Then what are they asking for? They are asking for the power. If you know where the question is coming from and you know about what they are asking, you can easily know the formula to use. And by the way, if you know the answer to that question, drop it in the comment section, because in the comment section I will also be dropping the answer to this question. The sixth point I will give to you guys is the easiest way to learn physics, and it is by using the why strategy. Always ask yourself, why is this thing so? Or why is this concept this way? Or why is this formula this way? They say curiosity is the mother of invention. For me, curiosity is the mother of learning. When you are sleeping, when you are walking, when you are going to church, always ask yourself, why is this formula this way? Or why is the answer to this question this way? This will really improve your learning. It will massively improve your learning, not just in physics but in other subjects, because you have an in-depth understanding of the subject or topic. But where can you always get your answers to your why? Because most times your teachers don't even know some whys. They don't know about some whys, and that is why sometimes I don't ask my teachers questions in class, because questions that I ask them are sometimes it is way much higher than them. But I will recommend that you use these sources that I use for getting your answers to your whys. One of the sources I will recommend for you guys is to use Google. It is a very important tool for students. You can use it for searching for your questions or your whys. Then another important or even very important source to get your whys from is from your Jamb recommended textbooks. Then I will also recommend that you use this source, the organic chemistry tutor. They teach very well about physics. They teach very well about chemistry, but specifically physics. So you can actually go and learn from that source. That is, if you're having issues with studying alone or doing personal study, if you're not going for tutorials, you can go to that channel. And the last but not the least source that I will recommend for you guys is ChatGPT. This is a very, very important source, but it just came newly, and it would have been an added advantage to me then if I saw it earlier. But it is a very powerful tool, or even is more powerful than Google. So you can use it to ask specific questions and it will give you specific answers. Okay, let me give you an example of how how you can use ChatGPT to solve questions or to get your answers to your whys. Let's say I'm wondering why the gravitational force is inversely proportional to the square of the distance between two bodies. Let me type it. Did you see how the app brilliantly answered my question or answered my why question and even gave me explanations? So even if I did not understand what it explained, look at this. I'm going to ask it to make it very simpler. Now, do you see, even if you're an Olodo person, this app will help and explain this to you very well, that you understand very well. So add that to your arsenal. Remember, I said it first here, and the link to the app is in the video description. Just sign in and click on try ChatGPT, and you might not even need to download any app for it, but it's a powerful tool for you guys. This will lead me to my 7th point. Are you not already enjoying the video? Why not click on the subscribe button? And please guys, help me grow and like the video. So my 7th point is try to get a personal note. Try to get a new notebook for jotting down concept in physics. I don't mean you should go and get 20 leaves. Get a good notebook. I discussed more about notebook in the 3rd episode of this series. Then to my 8th trick that helped me to always stay above 90 in Jamb Physics is try to jot down those difficult questions that you encounter while studying your textbook, or those tricky questions that you missed or you almost missed in your past question while solving your past question. Jot them down in your personal notebook and try to revisit those questions to know why they are tricky, and also to know what you will do if those questions are gonna come up in the future. That you got those questions or that you get those questions right in your past question doesn't mean that you are going to get it right in the exam hall. So what you do is to just jot it down in a special section in your notes. Make a special section in your personal notebook that you'll be jotting down these tricky questions or these hard questions, so that you will come and know why they are tricky and what you are going to do in future to avoid falling to the tricks of these questions. Now to the last point, which is the number 9. But before then, I will use this medium to advise those guys, those of you that are still struggling with physics, or you still hate physics, or those stuff you don't really like physics. I will advise that you stay off from those past questions from 1978, around those 1970s or 1990s or 1990s. So just keep yourself away from them, because most times they are very, very difficult. And if you check very well, their syllables are not exactly like our own. Although we have some contents in our syllables that is in theirs, but it is not everything that is in their syllables is in our own syllables. So what I would advise is that maybe you start from 2010, because I think that we have same syllables around from people in 2010. You can study from 2010 upwards, so and it will be easier for you to solve, so that you won't spend like a month solving just one past question, maybe from 1978. You can spend a month learning how to solve those questions there, because trust me, I've used it, I've gone through this level, and I know that those questions are really difficult. Where you will really see those questions are in your post UTME. But if you are a guru in physics, no, I'm not stopping you, you can go ahead with that. I'm just advising students that are just starting up in physics. Now the 9th point, which is the last point, is very important to me. Do you know why? That is because this is the time that I use for deep learning. It is the time that I use for learning or solving very difficult physics or mathematical questions, or use for understanding very difficult topics. And this is one of the reasons why I did not really attend a Jamb tutorial, so I did a self-study. It is because of this reason. And any question you are not able to solve around this particular time, I don't really think you can solve it any other time. I would just advise that you take the question to a superior person, and that is the best time for you to study. I don't really have enough time to explain it in this video. As you see, the video is already long, so you can go and watch out for the best time for you to study and understand every difficult concept. So guys, why not tell me thank you by liking the video and hitting the subscribe button, and also turning on your notification icon so that you will be notified the next time I release my next video. And if you're having any issues with any topic or any concept in this preparation, you can put it in the comment section below. I will help you with sources where you can learn it, because guys, I'm really willing to help you guys score very high in this exam.